Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are losing staff once again. 4 staff members have left in recent weeks, according to People magazine. And they're, of course, not the first staff members to quit. Around 20 staff members have quit working for Harry and Meghan since they first moved to California 5 years ago. What's happening here?
20 people. That's how many employees have walked away from Harry and Meghan's operation since they touched down in California 5 years ago. 20. And this week, 4 more just vanished from their payroll like ghosts in the night. But here's what nobody's talking about. This isn't just about bad bosses or Hollywood burnout. This is about 2 people watching their entire world collapse in real time, and the devastating choices they're making to survive it. Picture this. You're sitting in a glass-walled conference room in Montecito, surrounded by palm trees and million-dollar views. But the atmosphere is toxic. Meghan's pacing like a caged animal. Harry's staring at his phone, hoping for a text that never comes. And your colleagues are quietly updating their LinkedIn profiles under the table. Welcome to Sussex HQ, where the American dream meets the British nightmare. The latest casualties? A communications director, a program manager, and 2 other key players whose names the Palace Watchers are still trying to uncover. But insiders are calling it something much darker than a simple staff shakeup. One royal expert dropped the word bloodbath, and honestly, that's not even the worst part. The worst part is why they're all running for the exits. Sources close to the situation paint a picture that would make any HR department weep. Meghan, according to those who've worked with her, operates like a tech startup CEO on Red Bull and revenge. Every decision is scrutinized, every failure is dissected, and every success belongs to the brand, not the people who made it happen. She's described as very business about everything, including the royal rift that's slowly strangling their credibility. While Harry still dreams of family reconciliation, Meghan's already moved on to damage control and market positioning. And Harry? He's become the employee in his own company. Multiple sources suggest he's being left out of the details when it comes to major decisions about their future. The man who once flew helicopters in Afghanistan now sits in planning meetings like a guest at his own intervention. The pattern is brutal. Meghan strategizes, Harry endorses, staff execute, then staff evacuate. Rinse and repeat until you've burned through 24 professionals who thought they were joining a fairy tale. But the staff exodus is just the symptom. The real disease is the royal deep freeze that's been slowly suffocating their relevance for 3 years running. This month delivered another crushing blow when they were officially excluded from Trooping the Colour for the 3rd consecutive year. Not overlooked, not forgotten, actively excluded. The royal family's message couldn't be clearer if they'd hired a skywriter. You're not welcome here. The snub hits different this time because Harry's been privately pleading for reconciliation. Sources say he's reached out through intermediaries, sent letters, even had mutual friends try to broker peace talks. But King Charles and Prince William have apparently built a wall of silence so thick that even desperate family appeals bounce off like rubber balls. The working royals showed up for the ceremony. William, Kate, Anne, Edward, Camilla, a united front that deliberately excluded the California rebels. What makes this particularly savage is the timing. Harry's been fighting legal battles over his UK security arrangements, publicly airing grievances about being abandoned by his own family when he needed protection. His response to losing that court case was to go nuclear on William and Charles, detailing just how bad their relationship has become. And their response? Complete radio silence followed by another public snub. It's like watching a family disown someone in slow motion, in front of the entire world. The royal machine has perfected the art of institutional ghosting. No angry statements, no public feuds, just the steady, systematic removal of Harry from the family narrative. His name disappears from websites, his titles get footnoted, his invitations get lost in the mail. It's death by 1,000 cuts, each one small enough to seem accidental, but collectively devastating enough to destroy a man's connection to everything he once was. This is where Meghan's business-first approach becomes both her strength and her weakness. While Harry's still processing the emotional devastation of losing his family, she's already 3 steps ahead, treating their situation like a corporate restructuring. Friends say she views every royal slight as market research, every staff departure as a necessary efficiency measure, every public controversy as brand awareness. It's ruthlessly practical, but it's also fundamentally misreading the room. Because here's what Meghan doesn't seem to understand. You can't CEO your way out of a royal exile. The Sussex brand isn't failing because they need better employees or sharper strategies. It's failing because they've positioned themselves as victims of an institution that most people still respect, while simultaneously trying to profit from their connection to that same institution. They want to be rebels and royals, outsiders and insiders, truth-tellers and brand ambassadors. It's an impossible balancing act, and the staff turnover is proof that even the people getting paid to make it work can't figure out how to do it. The departing employees aren't just abandoning ship, they're fleeing a fundamental contradiction. How do you build a sustainable operation around 2 people who became famous for leaving their last job? How do you create workplace stability when your entire brand is built on institutional instability? How do you maintain professional relationships when your bosses are still actively burning bridges with their own family? The answer, apparently, is that you don't. You update your resume, you network quietly, and you exit stage left before the whole thing implodes. Which brings us to the nuclear option that's been whispered about in Westminster for years, the formal stripping of their Duke and Duchess titles. Parliament holds the power to remove their titles, and sources suggest that discussions about doing exactly that have been gaining momentum behind closed doors. It would take an act of Parliament to strip them of their Duke and Duchess status, but the political appetite for such a move has been steadily growing. Conservative MPs have been increasingly vocal about their frustration with the Sussexes' behavior, and even some Labour members have suggested that the couple's actions warrant a formal review of their status. The threat is real, and it's terrifying for Meghan because it would destroy the last official connection between their brand and the monarchy. Without the titles, they become just another celebrity couple with a Netflix deal and a pile of grievances. The Duchess of Sussex becomes just Meghan Markle, former actress, former royal, current entrepreneur. The branding implications alone would require a complete reinvention of everything they've built. Harry knows this, which is why he's been so desperate to repair the relationship before it's too late. But Meghan's approach has been to prepare for war instead of peace. She's reportedly been building legal defenses, public relations strategies, and alternative revenue streams as if the title stripping is inevitable. While Harry's trying to save the relationship, she's planning the divorce. The California fortress they've built around themselves is becoming both their sanctuary and their prison. The staff turnover reflects a deeper problem. They're running out of people willing to help them navigate the impossible space between royal relevance and American ambition. The 20 employees who've left aren't just former colleagues. They're witnesses to the slow-motion collapse of a dream that was always too big for reality. What comes next depends on whether they can find a way to stop the bleeding or if they'll continue hemorrhaging credibility until nothing's left but the wreckage of what might have been. The staff exodus is just the beginning. The real test will be whether they can build something sustainable from the ashes of their royal connection or if they'll keep burning through people and opportunities until they're left with nothing but each other and a very expensive mortgage in Montecito. The 20 employees who've walked away know something that Harry and Meghan are still learning the hard way. You can't run from your problems forever, especially when your problems are your business model. The exodus isn't just about bad management or impossible expectations. It's about the fundamental impossibility of the Sussex Project. Trying to be independent while trading on dependence. Trying to be authentic while monetizing their trauma. Trying to be private while living in the public eye. And as the staff numbers dwindle and the royal freeze-out continues, one thing becomes increasingly clear. The fairy tale is over, but the real story is just beginning. Whether it ends in redemption or ruin depends on choices they haven't made yet, but time is running out, and the people who might have helped them navigate this crisis are updating their LinkedIn profiles and looking for their next opportunity. The question isn't whether they can survive this latest crisis. The question is whether they can learn from it, adapt to it, and build something better from the pieces. Because if they can't, the next 20 employees won't just be leaving, they'll be the last ones to turn off the lights on their way out.